Happy February, everyone. Thank you so much for taking this time to dive into yoga and to really dive into yourself, dedicating this time to yourself. That's the most important thing. And I know right now lots of nerves are a little frazzled around the world, and so this is a great time just to take February, take these 28 days to focus on our inner calmness, because we can't create calm outside until we have calm in here. And focusing on each day a piece of yoga, a limb of yoga, will really help us. And you know, this is something that I need, and we teach what we need. So I really appreciate you being here through this. And each day I'm going to be sending you a video, and some of it will be gentle, some of it's going to get your heart rate up, and other times will just be laying down as I walk you through a guided meditation or visualization. So thank you for your willingness to try this, to know how important this is for your own heart. And with that, we'll start. We're going to be on the floor for most of the time today. So if you just want to get a yoga mat, I am sitting on a yoga cushion. You can sit on you can sit on the floor, you can sit on a pillow, whatever makes you most comfortable. That's the most important thing. So we're going to start with some breath. And so I just want you to take your right hand, place it on your heart, your left hand, place it on your belly. And just don't do anything. I just want you to focus on your breath right now without changing a thing. Where's your breath coming from? Where are you feeling that? Are you feeling it coming from your chest? Are you feeling it come from your tummy? It's one of the biggest gifts and the greatest gifts that yoga has given to me, is that gift of recognizing my breath. And now on that next in-breath, I want you to feel the breath go through your nostrils, down the back of your throat, passing through your lungs and down into your belly. And as you exhale, start at the belly, taking the breath through the chest, the throat, the nose, and out the nostrils. And then inhale again, focusing on the air coming in through the nostrils, hitting the back of the throat, down through the lungs and into the tummy. And then exhaling it out, starting at that tummy, lungs, back of the throat, and through the nostrils. And do that a couple more times on your own. Feeling the breath hit each and every spot. And when you're done with that second round, placing your hands on your knees, letting your eyes flutter open, and taking those arms out wide, or stretching up towards the ceiling, and feeling that stretch through each side of your body, And then twist, taking that right hand, placing it on that, or taking that left hand, placing it on that right knee, and just gently twisting open. And then inhaling both hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, right hand on left knee in the opposite direction. And then reaching up one last time, as high as you can, feeling it through that side body, and then taking those hands down. Remove that cushion or pillow or whatever you had underneath you, if you had something underneath you. And then place those toes together, those knees wide as we get into our first child's pose. So placing those hips on those ankles, that head gently that forehead laying down on the mat, and let your arms hang heavy. Make this a real restorative or a very passive pose. This can be an active pose, but right now I just want you to make it passive. As we focus on 5 deep breaths in and out, each time you exhale, sinking a little bit deeper into the earth. Connecting to the ground below, beneath you. Letting your body relax. And after your next breath out, placing both hands beside your head and gently pushing away. And coming into that tabletop position. So your wrists are right underneath your shoulders. Your knees are underneath those hips. Your hands are fanned out wide, pressing down onto the mat. As we lift up our gaze towards the sky and lift those hips up, chest open, shoulder blades together, that's a cow position. Then the cat position, you're gonna round your spine, letting your chin meet your chest, moving all the way down from that cervical spine, feeling that stretch down to the sacrum. Pressing away with those hands. Inhale, cow. Again, gaze up towards the ceiling. Exhale, cat. Do that a couple more times on your own, as fast or as slow as you need to. Opening up that spine. And then falling into that neutral position and maybe just moving your hips back and forth, wagging that tail, moving your neck, maybe moving your hips in nice circles. Just focusing on where there's any tension in your body, where there's any tightness, and not judging it, but just noticing it. Closing your eyes and rounding and moving around in each position. And then coming into stillness. Planting down with that left hand. Lift up with the right hand towards the ceiling, opening up that chest. And then hold it here for just a breath, reaching out, opening up, using traction to open up that chest.
It's like somebody's pulling each of your hands, one down to the ground, one up to the sky. And then exhale, thread that right arm underneath that left. Sit back on your heels. Let that right cheek fall to the ground as you feel an opening in the back of that shoulder. And then taking that left hand towards the face, unwinding, reaching up again towards the sky, and then placing that hand back on the ground. Now planting that right hand on the ground, lift the left arm up high to the sky. Remember that traction. So pulling away, lifting up through that left hand, pressing down through that right hand. And then taking that left, threading that needle underneath that right arm, placing that left cheek on the mat, and breathing here. Take that right hand next to the face, open up, unwind, that complementary stretch, and then place it back down on the ground. Curl those toes under. Place those hands a little bit out in front of you, pressing down with those fingers, really planting with that thumb and that forefinger, pressing down nice and wide. And then lift up on those toes so that you are feeling some pressure through that core, using that core to lift it up, engaging those muscles, engaging those quads, and then gently press back into our first downward facing dog. Letting that head hang heavy, pressing with those hands down towards the mat, using those heels to push down. And you'll see my heels don't go all the way down to the mat. That's not the goal. The goal is to get into that proper position so that your hips are lifted up towards the sky. So maybe bend your knees and then tilt your hips up towards the sky, then press down with those heels. Everybody's body is different. Everybody's gonna look a little bit different. And I could stay here all day. Maybe walk that dog, press each heel down, maybe again move those feet back and forth. And then slowly come down into a plank position. So you're going from a downward facing dog into a plank position, holding that nice and strong. And then pike those hips up, going back into downward facing dog. Exhale. Inhale back to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Use that core to lift you up, to lift those hips up to the sky. Inhale, plank. If this is too much for you and you need to come down to your knees, do that. And I'm going to demo that right now. So just come down to your knees and you're in that plank position on your knees, and then you're just going to go back into a modified child's pose. Inhale, plank. Exhale, child's pose. Wherever you feel you're at right now, everything can be modified. to fit your needs. And if you have any questions about how to modify any of these poses, please email me, text me, call me. So I'm gonna pop back up on my toes for that plank position. Those that stayed up here, let's do 1 or 2 more. Beautiful. And then pike those hips up, downward facing dog. Let's take those feet up to meet those hands. And just stay down here. Place that chest. Bend those knees so that your chest is resting on your quads, on your legs right here. And just let your head hang heavy. Keeping both feet on the ground. Keeping both hands on the ground. Keeping those eyes open, that's going to help your balance. And then slowly walk those hands out in front of you. Take those knees back down to the ground. Open up those knees as we get into a second, more active child's pose. So this time we're going to reach out with those fingers, not letting those arms drop, letting them stay up nice and high off the mat, but continuing to keep that head on the forehead on the ground. Reaching out in front of you as much as possible, tractioning down with the hips towards the heel as much as possible. And then slowly coming back up, taking that breath, moving to our bottoms. As we gently lay down on our backs, moving into a bridge pose. So we're gonna take we're bending our knees, we're taking our heels, so that maybe that we're just touching, our fingers are just touching those heels. And what we're gonna do is we're going to lift up from the hips, placing that pressure on our shoulders. This is not a glute exercise. This is an inversion where we're really focusing on getting that heart above our head. So focus on letting that light shine through your heart. So on your next inhale those hips up, without putting pressure on your neck. Press down with those shoulders, feeling that heart rise above the chest, and then exhale it back down. Inhale, press up. Exhale, press down. Continue here. If you want to make a little bit more challenge, maybe clasp your hands underneath your body so that you're resting on those shoulders, lifting up, making that double chin, touching that chin to your chest, holding it here, and then exhaling it all down. Hug those knees into your chest. Roll back and forth. Gently here. Then letting your head meet the mat. Taking those feet down towards the ground. Taking that right leg, placing that right ankle on that left knee. Now I want you to take your hands and reach behind that left thigh
and gently pull in. You'll see a figure 4 shape. And what you're gonna feel it through the back of your right leg. This is a supine pigeon pose. And we'll do a pigeon pose, which is one of my favorite poses. We'll do that on the mat in the other direction in a few days. But just sit here and just feel that opening of those hips. Those tight hips where we feel and we experience so much tension and emotion. Closing your eyes, focusing on your breath each time you exhale. Maybe pull in a little bit more. And then releasing that, releasing both feet to the ground, windshield wiper those legs back and forth. And then taking that left leg up towards the sky, placing that left ankle on that right knee, reaching behind that leg and pulling in, opening up the other hip. Maybe rocking back and forth. See where you feel a little bit of tension growing. And once you reach that tension, not so that it's painful, but just so that you feel wherever that tension is, just hold it there and breathe. See if you can release it. Or just pay attention to it. Release that leg, release both legs and feet to the mat, windshield wiper the legs back and forth. And then take both hands out into a T, and then just drop those knees over to one side. Trying not to lift up on either shoulder so that both shoulders are still touching the ground. And then gently look over at your left hand, feeling an opening through the back and through your hips. Remember to breathe in these positions. Most of yoga is just using that breath to open up some of these beautiful muscles that we can't touch in any other way. And take those knees into the center, drop them to the other side as you look to your right hand side. Keeping connection with the floor, with both shoulders. Coming back to center. Giving yourself a nice big hug. And then I want you to tighten every single muscle that you have. Tighten, tighten, tighten. Tighten your ankles, tighten your knees, tighten your quads, tighten your butt, your core, everything. And then exhale it all out.
everything rest on the ground. And here we do Savasana. And I want you to stay here as long as you need to. This video will end, but use this time to empty your mind, use it to reconnect with your spirit, reconnect with anything that you're focused on today to bring you energy. And take as much time as you need here. And thank you for allowing me to walk you through this gentle beginning practice. We'll be doing a lot of other fun things. Hopefully this got you up and moving, opened up some joints for you, opened up your spine. Please let me know if you have any questions. We'll see you tomorrow. Namaste.